Mr. Chair, thank you very much. It's a privilege to be here tonight. In my short 5 months as an MP in this chamber, I don't think I've found a bill which is more important than this one tonight. I wasn't going to take a call, but like Mr Hipkins, I couldn't not speak in all good conscience. Of the 114 bills Mr Graham has talked about this Parliament has passed, this Parliament, I think this is the most fundamental and goes to the heart of our Constitution in New Zealand. Mr Chair, like Mr Harawira and a few other members in this House, I've been a defendant in court cases. Because of my environmental activism, I've faced minor criminal charges in a court. And while they're not substantial cases, which we're talking about tonight, where people can be going to jail for an awfully long time, I thought I'd share some of my experiences with this House so that members get a flavour of what it's like to be a defendant in a court. Court is a confusing, noisy, crowded place, full of tough-looking people, full of procedure, pomp and protocol, so foreign to people like this. No, I'm not a pussycat. But what I'm talking about is what court is and the environment that court is. As a defendant, you're going to a foreign place which you don't have any experience. You've got lawyers of which we have enough representation in this chamber who understand what's going on. But as a defendant, you're confused. You don't know what's going on. You only have the direction of your lawyer. And what we're talking about tonight is taking an already confusing place, an already foreign place to many people, and making it more confusing, more foreign, and more hardened to understand. It's going to be near impossible for someone who doesn't have an experience with court to defend themselves, to follow what's going on through a tiny screen, potentially in their cell, potentially with technical problems. What this bill will do will give an awful amount of power to the videographer. And what's going to happen? It's going to be the defendants who are going to suffer. The videographer is going to have so much power they can choose what is going to be filmed and what's not going to be filmed. They can, by the power of omission, vastly influence a defendant's right to a fair trial and what they're going to experience. Could the defendant be abused? Could the defendant be under duress in their cell? The jurors and the people in the courtroom wouldn't know. The jurors are going to suffer, Mr Chair. The jurors are going to have no access to those all too human qualities. Mr Bridges can talk about how body language isn't important, but as human beings we know it is. It's an essential part of who we are. As Materia talked about earlier, it's an important part of our humanity to be able to look your accused in the eye. Jurors are going to find it essential to be able to talk, to be able to see, to be able to view the defendant and the accused. As we've talked about tonight, it's so much easier to find the person guilty, to send them to jail for a long time, if they're not even in the same room. Studies in human nature have shown this is consistent, and this is just what happens. We're going to see more people convicted and more people facing longer times in jail because of the decisions taken in this House tonight. This is going to affect the most poorest and the most vulnerable Kiwis, Māori, the young, the poor. Those who least understand the legal justice system at the moment are going to be further taken away from it. It's going to be those who can't afford a lawyer or two lawyers, one to sit beside them in the cell and advise them and explain what's going on, and the lawyer who's in the courtroom. And ultimately it's going to be justice that is going to suffer. This bill is taking away our centuries-old right and a cornerstone of a transparent, fair justice system. It's a right and a fundamental civil liberty to be present at your trial. This takes away the accused's choice. We support video conferencing. As Greens, we encourage its use because there are considerable environmental benefits, but the person needs a choice. I celebrate the justice system which is investing $2 million in AVL technology, but defendants need a choice. Why are we doing this? Why are we debating this tonight? Ultimately, it's because of cost savings. But what we're doing is trying to make it cheaper for the justice system, which is cheapening justice. What we're going to get is justice on the cheap. Mr Chair, we've heard speaker after speaker condemn this bill in the House in the strongest language from a host of parties, not because of political reasons, but because this is a fundamental injustice. I urge the government to take a breath, to take a cup of tea, put it on hold for a week, and if they don't, I urge the ACT Party to stand up and to vote against this bill. This is a travesty and an injustice. Kia ora, Mr Chair.